You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Twisted After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Twisted After Show.
Really, Marissa, you're going to start it off with this?
Hello, everyone. Bings for doing. And we're here doing another after show for ABC Family's Twisted. Was that sad enough?
That's quite sad.
This is season 1, episode 2. Grief is a 5-letter word. And we're going to start right out with the funeral after we introduce ourselves, obviously. I'm Jason Ikeler.
I'm Heather Joy.
I'm Lina Green.
And I'm Stephen Lemieux.
Steven's still really upset about this. So Regina's funeral happens, and we've got Lacey there making this speech, and she kind of comes across her friend Phoebe after the funeral. Not her friend, her enemy Phoebe, after the funeral, like crying dramatically to the news camera guy. And it's just it's something I would do. But
Drama.
Yeah.
But we kind of get the feeling that, okay, Lacey does not like Phoebe, and she's using this murder to get some attention, some negative attention.
Well, it's just it opens up with Lacey giving such like a heartfelt speech about her friend and how she loses her friend, and then it's just Phoebe like,
what did she say?
When is this gonna air?
It's like having a rib gone. She was my
Her
spleen.
Spleen. She was her soulmate.
Oh, but you kind of feel for Phoebe with her big shades on and her really acting this out. I kind of felt for her. I was
She's
there in the
too
moment.
dramatic.
You were there.
I was there in the moment.
You got her back. It is kind of interesting though, because I do feel like when a death happens in a high school, it's like everybody's first time dealing with it. So it's a dramatic experience even if you don't know the person.
Yeah, it does seem like everybody wants some of the attention on themselves. And so people are like telling stories that probably happened skewed.
One time we parked next to each other and it was really sad.
Gave her a cupcake at lunch, you know. But I mean, that's what happens. But it's cute. That's how they introduce this girl, Phoebe. Who we are starting to like. I
know, I kind of like her.
You introduce her as someone that people will hate, and then kind of she grows on you.
She grows on you by the end.
She means well.
If she was just how she is at the end, at the beginning, we probably wouldn't have even.
We'd still hate her.
We probably wouldn't like her as much.
Yeah.
Do you feel like she's like replacing Regina now? She's gonna be the new.
She's gonna die
mean girl?
next.
No, I don't say that. Stop. I don't want her to die.
I think
Take it back.
I think that Lacey's gonna take a time to warm up to her, but once she does, I think they might be friends.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna happen.
Yeah, because I think Joe and Lacey won't automatically become best friends.
Yes.
So there's got to be somebody in there.
Else in the meantime.
Yeah.
How about the other best friend, the mean girl with the curly hair? It's getting on my nerve.
Oh yeah, I don't even know her name.
I don't think
I
any
thought
of
it
us
was
know.
Serena.
Serena,
It's Sandy, I think.
I think we don't know if it's Sandy or Serena yet, but we all know that we don't like her.
Yeah, what did she say to Lacey in the beginning? Regina's dead. Get over it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she was kind of truthful though. I mean, she's like, Regina was a bitch. We loved her, but she's dead. Get over it.
Yeah, but you gotta grieve, Stephen.
Yeah, and it seemed like she said it with some underlying meaning. Maybe she's the one who killed
She's the
Regina.
killer.
I think she has something to do with it.
Yeah.
After that, what she said to her.
That's actually really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think maybe Regina was a little bit meaner to her than we have let on. You'll probably find out about that later.
Do you think
Yeah.
maybe she's jealous of Regina, or she was jealous of Regina, so she did something to get back at her?
Killing someone would be kind
I know. That's the ultimate revenge.
It's a little extreme, but still.
How twisted.
I don't see her having anything to do with Regina's death.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see. But so then we find out that Phoebe wants to do something in Regina's honor. So she's coming up with all these ideas, and she decides that she's going to have a grief session where she brings in a grief counselor. And I don't know, I would be so annoyed if I was in Lacey's position and you know that these two people hate each other and you're the one that's actually hurting, but this girl's coming in and just basically trying to get attention from all of it is what appears to us at first. We find out later that's not why, but it's kind of interesting.
And this grief counselor, is that a real grief counselor?
I know.
She's, what was it, summa cum laude?
Yeah, Loudy.
I loved her for that. I'll forever love her for that. Summa cum laude.
They make the grief counselor so unlikable. Just like
I know.
You don't like anybody.
no, I do, but they no, it's just I don't like them for the reason that the writers made them unlikable. Like it was their goal to. It's not like I'm not liking them because I'm a grump. It's because the writers intended for me to not like them.
See, but I think that's going to play into the bigger story that Lacey doesn't want to get counseling or help or talk to anybody, and this is like her view of those type of people in authority.
Yeah.
You know, they're all just kind of nut jobs.
I don't know. Lacey seems
Right?
Does it seem like Lacey's like really grieving though? Like everybody seems to be just going on with their lives, and Lacey's like feeling it. Like
I mean, it was her best
She's
friend,
holding
though.
back.
I know, but it seemed like
She had to go to school the next day.
I don't know. Yeah, she seemed okay at lunch.
She was fine.
She was like, let's have lunch.
It hit her a little later.
Well, isn't it kind of funny how, well, not really funny, but what does Lacey do to cope with having somebody who's murdered somebody in her life? She fits in with the mean girls,
Yeah.
and then why does she not really want to associate with Danny? Because she's a part of this group. Okay, well, the people holding her back from associating with Danny, one of them's gone now.
Yeah, that. And why does she not want to be friends with Joe? It's like, that was one of her good friends. Joe didn't do anything.
Tying
I
her
feel like
back to Danny.
she's hiding something.
I think part
Maybe.
of her kind of wants to believe. I know she knows Danny didn't do it, but it makes it easier to hate him and not be a part of him if she just believes that he killed him or her.
That could be.
You know?
I mean, do you think she's going to come out and say, hey, I was at his house, be his alibi? Is that something you think?
That's kind of what they're teasing for next week's episode. So I
This is
don't,
going to carry on.
It needs
for
to
Yeah,
come
I
out
don't know.
eventually because Karen did go to Chief
That's true.
Masterson and
But-
said that it happened.
I will say it was interesting when Joe and Danny were talking and they were like, maybe it was Lacey. Because you know what I mean? Because I think they're going to do that in this show and plot things against everybody.
Yeah, I don't see how they're going to pin that on Lacey. I mean, they were both each other's alibi, Danny and Lacey.
Yeah.
You guys haven't suggested that perhaps Phoebe was the one that killed Regina.
We would do this all day and say everybody.
I know, who's the
You
guy?
know, could've been the
Everybody
one.
killed.
Who done it?
Who done it?
Let's-
So let's talk about the grief session really quick. There was the guy that everybody has the story basically. The nerd pet guy. Archie had the story about raisins, which I didn't really get. I don't like Archie. And then Lacey gets like pissed off, and she's like, "All of you people didn't even know her." And I think that's when she finally starts to grieve her, and that's kind of her way of getting emotional,
That
I
was
think-
a
going off at everybody else.
Well, I think she had started to grieve her when she was alone at the clubhouse.
Yeah, that's true.
And then that was kind of interrupted. So now this is like she's kind of frustrated because she can't get away from Danny. If anyone she's holding a secret for Danny now, and now she's like in this room with idiots who are basically false friends, and it's also very showing to see that there's 8 people in that room. There's like
Yeah.
8 people in the room for somebody who died, which is grief counseling, and only one person in the room actually gives a crap. Well, 2 people technically, but
So
and
she
she was a
very
total-
lovable.
yeah, like
she was a popular bitchy
for
girl.
being the popular girl, no one really showed up to this grief
Yeah.
session.
That's what happens. That's what happens.
But I think it was interesting at the end too when Phoebe finally said like they had this big falling out and they were best friends until then, and then you find out you actually feel bad for Phoebe because Regina is a horrible person.
Yeah, and that was definitely a real moment for Lacey just coming out. I felt like that was the realest Lacey's ever gotten. It was like, I'm mad now. And I
Yeah.
wanted her to get mad. I was like, come on, just tear into someone. Tear into her.
Get her.
Sick of her. That poor guy, though, the nerd, made me want to cry. She said I was her nerd
I wanted
pet.
to slap him.
Who comes up and says
So
nerd
sad.
pet?
It's really funny.
who gets happy being called the nerd pet? That's
I think a nerd by a hot girl.
Yeah, Regina was hot.
Right?
I guess.
I guess.
It's like,
No, she was,
it's
but
happened.
Before we get into the murder mystery part of this episode, we want to remind everybody about another murder mystery you can pick up on iTunes, Serial Buddies, and it was made by everybody here at AfterBuzz, and it's got Kathy Lee Gifford, Beth Bears, 2 Broke Girls, Maria Menounos, Artie
Marty,
Lane.
it's got Christopher Lloyd.
So many people. And you can check it out at iTunes or go to serialbuddies.com, and all of the money goes back into AfterBuzz so we can keep doing these podcasts for you for free. So it's the least you could do.
Check it
Without
out.
advertising.
Yeah.
Check it out on a new website,
Yes, the new
AFTERBUZZTV.com.
Yes.
It's awesome.
We'll talk
It's
about that
fun.
now too. Actually, we've
All
got
right.
a brand new website.
We've got a brand new
AFTERBUZZTV.com, and they've been working super, super hard on it. It's very, very easy to access, and it gives you kind of insider information about every show that we do. And it's easy to see us as the host or find old clips of the shows. Check it out. We love your feedback. AFTERBUZZTV.com.
We built the site on your feedback, and you can find all the guests we've had, and it connects you right to their shows. So if you ever want an interview with anyone who is on one of your favorite shows, Hannibal or whatever, you can just click on the guest, click on any of the videos they've been in, and you
It's
can
cool.
find out about
It's
them.
very easy to use too.
All right. So
We got to talk about Danny. Dun dun dun.
you want to?
Nice.
How do you want to do this? You want to rock through this episode in order, or do you want to just talk about characters?
What do you think? I think it might make more sense to do it in order.
All right, let's rock it
So
out. in
Danny
order.
starts. He's reading the paper, and he's on the cover of the paper, kind of looking like a badass.
Mhm.
But his mom walks in and sees him reading the paper, and they kind of go through this back and forth thing, and you feel bad for him, because he's just trying to live a normal life, and he's just gonna be the murderer wherever he goes.
But he makes like such lightheartedness of his picture, the mug on his picture with this looks so grungy.
Yeah.
Like, this kid looks so grungy all the time.
What was the term he used?
It was a snap. I don't know what he was.
I don't know.
saying.
They capture my good side, making
Yeah.
me look so suspicious. We get a little insight to his father here too, because we don't know too much about Danny's father at the moment, but we can tell that he's a little bit more lighthearted. He's like, if you can't laugh, you might as well be dead, and that's
Yep.
something his dad said. And we also find out that he's not going to use Lacey as an alibi, He
Which I
refuses
think,
to.
I'm gonna grab my notes, because Danny did an interview with the Hollywood Reporter, and not Danny, the
Is this
character.
news and gossip?
Well, we'll talk about it more, but this actually gives insight into this a little bit. Yvonne did an interview, and he was saying that Danny will basically do whatever he can to protect the people he loves, which I think makes so much sense with this, because
Which is why he killed his
Lacey's
aunt.
somebody he cares about, so he, even if it means him looking guilty, he'll cover up for her.
Mm-hmm. That's.
And I think that's gonna, obviously, like what Stephen just said with his aunt too, it's gonna be a huge thing, because we think the mom's involved, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
I definitely
definitely.
see-
Covering up for
yeah.
her.
He definitely is covering up for someone because he went to jail, went to juvie. So it's probably an adult that he's trying to protect. That's what it looks like to me.
It's
Most
crazy.
likely. So
Let's see.
we find out Karen doesn't trust the Mastersons either, and even this whole episode, the way they filmed it, like it's really like the lines delivered, everything with the Mastersons is just like, you're suspicious.
Yeah.
You people are so suspicious right now.
But I kind of feel like they have reason to be.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I
Absolutely.
was them, I would be just as suspicious.
You know what confuses me? All the history between all the characters. Like, they used to be friends. The kids were friends.
Yeah.
There's so much history in there. That's something that I definitely want them to dive more into, because we didn't know that Karen used to hang out with Joe's mom and something went on there.
Yeah.
So that's definitely going to
Well,
be
Can we talk about Karen going over to Joe's house to talk to Joe's
the
mom?
dinner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's pretty ballsy, because she went to there, she went to the principal, she went to the police station.
The principal.
She's-
Wait a minute, the principal.
Oh, gosh.
The principal is pervy.
He's creepy.
It's gross. I
What?
knew.
Smelling that brush.
Why does he want to brush her hair and kiss her? Like, it's just
It was
really
gross.
creepy.
Well, I think the kissing is more understandable, but the hair brushing is what's.
And
He's
the
like
smelling
smelling
the brush.
it. Yeah.
How was that understand? The way he went in for that kiss, it was so, I threw up in my.
But this really gives you an insight into Karen's character as well, like because she is like, we know previously that she is the person who's on the top. Like she
Yep.
always likes to be the head of things. So now it's kind of giving us a little bit more about how she goes about doing things. And it seems like it's not really a love affair. It's more as it's a, here, I'll do this for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll help me out with my son. Like in this case, he wasn't expelled. He just had to,
Get therapy.
exactly, he has to use a school-provided therapist.
Well, and I think you got to work with what you got. So she's got the body and the looks, so
She's-
she uses it clearly.
She's so manipulative.
But I think that's when it's not going to work with the police officer too, because he's not like somebody that can be easily manipulated. I don't think.
Do you
Oh
think,
yeah, especially when they hate each other so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Do you think there's history there between her and Joe's dad?
I would be surprised if there was. It doesn't. At least that's not any kind of vibe I'm getting from it.
Really? When
You
they
think there
sat
is?
down, I don't know. The way he looked, he was like, "Well, hello, Karen." And it was like,
I thought it was like,
okay,
what do
maybe
you want?
I just have sexual things with everybody.
With everybody, yeah, God.
Perhaps, maybe he found, Danny found out that Tara was gonna tell Kyle's wife Tess that not Regina, that Joe is actually Karen and Kyle's daughter.
I don't know where the hell you're going.
You were
I have
making
no
a
idea.
Bit of a
Okay,
stretch.
I mean this show has so many of these like things are maybe this.
Yeah.
So
Everybody did it.
we get a little bit more of Rico's character. He's a big Murder, She Wrote fan.
I love Rico.
Yeah.
He's so funny. And he's so attached to Joe too,
Yeah,
which I think is
he's the friend
interesting
zone friend.
because that's going to be a love
Aw.
triangle coming
He
up.
kind of
we
goes
know.
along with whatever Joe
Yeah.
does too.
Yeah, I hope they link up there.
Oh, they won't. He'll just be the jealous
Joe
friend.
and Rico, you want
She's
to come
gonna-
Rico?
Yeah, no, I feel like they are. I don't see her going towards Danny at all. It's more
Oh,
like
I
little
do.
sister.
I see Rico
No.
as the jealous friend.
Yep.
No, I don't see Danny and Joe getting together. They seem like brother sister more like.
I just don't see.
I think
Danny and
Joe
Rico, or
would
Joe and
want
Rico.
to get with Danny. Hey, I would go for that. So Danny and Joe go walking, and Joe's obviously not supposed to hang out with Danny because he's a sociopathic killer. But her dad catches them, and the chief calls him a serial killer. And I just think you'd think he would be a little bit more unbiased since that's his job is to be a police officer and you're innocent until you're proven guilty. But
Yeah.
not when it
Small
comes
town.
to his daughter. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a small town.
I mean, he's trying to protect his daughter, but he blew up a little too hard on him. Like,
Well, and
give
it
him a
seems
chance.
too that they were saying Joe's never really rebelled. And this is the first time she's kind of lashing out at her parents and saying, you don't know him at all.
Well, do you think it's also her parents trying to cover up something by keeping Danny and Joe away from each other? Because, I mean, from day one, like, the way his dad has reacted to Danny was more of, like, I mean, this kid was 11, killed his aunt, yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, he's still really reacting very harshly to any time he sees Danny. Like,
Well,
doing the whole thing in front of the auditorium, like, everything.
And obviously there are some secrets that they're not revealing, like we found out about Joe later where they wouldn't let her testify. So they're holding stuff back from her.
Yeah.
I'm curious if Joe's dad was part of the original murder case, like if he was the chief back then too, because he could
Oh,
have.
that'd be interesting.
Yeah, because he could have maybe found him guilty or arrested him or whatever.
Well, I
the
think
original time.
didn't Karen say something about it? Like she was like, back in those days, you could have done something to help Danny, didn't she?
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think she was talking, I think, about Joe not letting him let her testify.
Yeah, that's, I think, what she meant. We also, they
That's
make a Johnny
interesting.
Cochran reference. I
With-
like that.
Like,
I think
And
that
they're
is-
like,
Right over Joe's head.
I don't know who Johnny Cochran is.
they
Like,
do all these references.
I
to,
don't know
like-
who Johnny Cochran is either.
Yes, you
he's
do.
the defense attorney for O.J. Simpson.
Oh.
A lot of people.
I thought that
Yeah.
was
Robert Kardashian.
Robert
Yeah, there were
Kardashian.
They're
multiple.
both, I think.
Oh.
Johnny Cochran was the main person on that.
Oh, who knew?
Apparently
What a
not
pleasant
you.
surprise. So yeah, then Karen, next is when Karen goes to Joe's mom. And I thought it was, she's just such a bitch. She goes, you make a great use of such a small space.
I love that. I
Which
was like,
goes back to what we talked about last week about not thinking that Danny and Karen's house was very big. Obviously, it's a lot bigger than we
Yeah,
thought.
there you go.
I
Those
didn't think that.
references.
I thought their house was pretty big. I mean, they were.
I thought it
rich.
seemed big tonight, but
Tonight
we saw
it seemed
more
big.
rooms.
Mhm.
Maybe that's why.
you can see her turn it on and off though, because it's like, can you get from one mom to
another.
Can you just talk to Kyle? It wouldn't be appropriate.
Well, and I like that she called them. I like that she called them unprofessional too, though, because he's so unprofessional.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Going through
And
his
I
room.
think if he finds something, it's going to be an instance where he's not legally allowed to use the evidence because he's going to find it the wrong way.
Well,
you
yeah,
think-
just like, well, you
Like-
you were gonna say it.
Well, I was saying, do you think ABC's going to go by the legal, or are they going to let him use it and be like, well, I found this somewhere, or, you know?
I think they would follow. I don't know.
Well, they're probably not gonna send Danny back to court, so they'll probably avoid that. So it'll be more like of a, dun dun dun. I found this. How am I gonna find the next thing? Like he'll just know,
Yeah.
like Breaking Bad kind of thing.
Okay, that was creepy when Danny just popped up behind him, though. Did that
the
scare?
room.
I jumped so hard
Oh,
when
in
he
the
just
room?
popped in the room.
That was
It's
scary.
more like
creepy.
just
That
his
was-
shadow.
And he looked like soap in there.
Well, because
Creepy.
I feel like they're not trying to tell us if he's good or bad. It's supposed to be for us to decide, and I think we all know he's going to turn out to be good.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
But
so.
they're trying to like is he or isn't he a serial killer? You know.
I still want to know how he got the necklace. Y'all said it was a different necklace.
It's the same necklace.
It's the same
Yeah.
necklace.
You
How
think
did
it's
he
the
get
same?
necklace?
Well, I think I'm not sure at this point. Who knows? Honestly, like,
Yeah, I
we
don't
can't-
know
we
because
can't
you
really
said
tell.
I always thought it was until last week. Was it you that said it
I
was
said
different?
it might not have been. I said it might
And
be
that
multiple
kinda
people have the
see,
necklace.
and that kind of threw me off when I was watching the episode. You're in my head, Stephen.
I think it's the same necklace because they said it disappeared and now no
Yeah.
one can find it. So
He
it
wouldn't
has-
be acting so weird about the necklace as well, too,
Yeah.
if it was a different necklace.
Well, at the same time, he also could have went over there, saw the body, took the necklace, and then
Or he could have stolen the necklace from her at the party. If he's like, hey, that's my aunt's necklace.
Yeah, he went up
You
to her
know?
and said
that's
that.
true.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey.
no, I
What's
whatever.
up?
Give me the necklace
That's my
now.
Hey, girl.
necklace.
He just like rubs his hand behind her
What a
neck.
line.
So Joe's
Come on,
trying.
clasp that.
Joe's trying to protect Danny. She's trying to get his name cleared to a point. So they're meeting at the cafeteria. She's talking about, oh, we need to do a dinner. That's a great idea. Let's have our parents meet your parents because they don't hate each other at all, and they just are going to be really buddy and agree to
Well,
like get you off. So
Do you think Danny knows that his mom already went there?
probably not?
I don't think either
don't
of them
think
knew
I
that
think
happened.
everyone's acting independently of each other in the show right at the moment, and so this is when what's his face, Archie. God, that's
Archie.
such a
Archie, I thought that was a fake name. I thought they were just yelling that to be funny, but that's his real
That's
name.
his real name.
poor guy.
Arch.
And so Archie walks up and basically he says something about going back to prison. Danny retorts about him going to prison. It's like, well, you're a jock. You're gonna wash up, lose your hair.
I
become
like when
either-
he does this every
So
week
real.
though, because he did that with the girl with the mustache later, and he can just like pound into somebody.
He's so
Yeah.
honest.
He psychoanalyzes them and then takes them down. But I was glad that they got in a fight.
Yeah.
I thought it needed to be happen.
Didn't
Archie
he-
needed
Archie
to be
needed
punched.
Yeah, he needed to be quiet.
This is 2 episodes in, and we've seen 2 fights, one in each episode.
True.
It's exciting.
This
Lots
one,
of action.
well,
Danny
last
likes to
episode they're escalating too, like because this one he didn't. Last one he didn't fight back. This one he punched him in the gut.
Next
like,
time he's gonna kill somebody for real.
Well, last episode he could have technically killed somebody. Regina. No, I'm just
Dun,
kidding.
dun, dun. Their outcomes were kind of nice though, because Danny just has to see a therapist.
And then Archie only has to go
Go to the
grief
grief
counseling.
session.
And
Yeah.
when does that happen?
That
You get in a
wasn't-
fight in high school and you go.
When your mom
Yeah.
sleeps with the principal.
Get
Hey.
out of it.
no
I
one's
know.
actually slept with him. They just make out.
He just brushed her
Brushes
hair.
Yeah. That's
So
not
we already
creepy at all.
went through the grief counseling thing. So let's go over now the hideout, which they flash back to the beginning of the episode with the kids running through
Yeah.
and everything, and now we're actually at the modern day
Hideout.
They're
hideout.
forts.
They're
And I'm
forts.
wondering, do you guys think Lacey has been going back there this whole time?
I
Or
think
just
so.
I think she has too.
Definitely.
They probably just haven't met each other on the way. Like,
Yeah.
you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
It's funny.
Or maybe Lacey knows Joe's there, so she'll leave and not come in or something.
I'm sure they're gonna start really connecting soon. But it's funny how Danny always knows where Lacey is. Like they're always by themselves.
I think he's had a lot of time to think though. So he's probably just analyzed everything about her.
Huh, it's the 3rd year and 200th day in prison. I
wonder
wonder what
what
Lacey and
Lacey's
Joe is doing right now.
Lacey.
Well, then Danny ends up apologizing to Joe, and again, Rico's just always the comic relief when he gets invited to dinner. Or first he's like, I think Danny's gonna apologize. I can tell by the way he said, hey.
That's so
Hey.
cute.
So Tess walks up, he invites them for dinner. He takes Joe's idea after the whole
I know.
thing, yeah.
After he said it was stupid.
And so right before dinner, Karen visits the chief, and she lets out of the bag that Lacey did spend the night, which I think is going to cause tension between Danny and Lacey, because he just told her, hey, I didn't tell anybody that.
I mean, but technically he didn't tell anybody.
He
And
told
didn't-
his mommy.
No, but I
No,
mean,
his mom
His
saw.
mom
Like,
saw.
Oh,
yeah.
that's right. She saw.
I think that might cause some problems between Danny and
Yeah.
his mom as well. Like, I think Danny's gonna be mad that his mom
Mom, yeah.
did that.
Is that what she was trying to tell him before the dinner guest?
I think
show?
no, I
Yeah.
think it was about the necklace.
No, I think she was trying to tell him that she told the cop that she told Kyle. Because, no, she did know.
She doesn't know about the necklace. though.
Yeah,
But
because
she-
in the necklace, when she was in the room with the police officer, he said, do you recognize this necklace?
No, of course she recognizes it, but she doesn't know that Danny has it.
Yeah.
So she was gonna talk to Danny about how she told Kyle about Lacey, and she knows that because remember when she's talking to Danny and says, well, why don't you tell them? And he's like, I'm not gonna get Lacey involved. So she does know the full story with Lacey. She does know, and he knows that she
Oh,
does.
see, I know that, but I think she was trying to talk to Danny, like, hey, what the hell's going on with this necklace? This is the same necklace your aunt had. Why was this girl wearing it? Because then I think she's kind of questioning, like, what really did go on.
I think she's hiding it from Danny, though. She probably knows a lot more than he knows, so she's not going to confront him about that. But I know.
See, I think she was, because she seemed, like, shocked when he showed her that picture. And he even said, like, she doesn't have as good of a poker
That's
face as her
horrible.
son.
Well,
I know.
she didn't get to talk because the doorbell rings.
Yeah. And the whole family shows up. I was not expecting that at all.
The dad was so chipper, overly eyeball. Yo,
Rocky
Grigio, whatever.
I really don't like him.
Where's your chiller? Is it second room on the right upstairs? Nope. Oh, it's your bedroom.
Yeah, so he goes snooping through the house. Unprofessional. He's just not a good cop.
I mean,
He's a
No.
bad cop.
he wants answers. I think he's getting pretty desperate right now because there's a lot of unanswered questions. And that looks bad on you when you
But
like.
at the same time, that's just horrible if he, you know what I mean? If you're going to snoop around, at least be a little smarter about it.
Yeah. Don't
Like-
go into
And leave the
kids'
door open.
Yeah.
bath.
Oh, I was looking at this picture.
That was quick thinking. That was quick thinking.
That
grabbing
was.
that picture.
So was this an awkward dinner, or was this just like how normal families have dinner?
Awkward.
Awkward.
Oh, it was. Okay,
Not for
okay.
Rico.
Yeah, maybe
I couldn't
not.
quite
Rico
tell.
was having fun.
Rico
Poor
was
guy.
hungry. He was stuffing his face, talking about Avengers. You know, he was having a jolly old time.
So everything kind of escalates when Danny and Joe decide they're going to go to some renovated park or something.
They were going to go McNally Park, the new McNally Park. They renovated a year ago, and the dad is against the idea of them hanging out. I wonder why.
Because they're sexual predators at parks, Stephen.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for that parenting advice, Jason.
Watch Karen blows
And
up
then
about.
Karen just called,
Seriously.
you think my son's a psychopathic murderer.
Like everybody thinks that. Why would she even have to point that out? We all think he's. Well, I don't.
So that's when it all comes out to that Karen wanted Joe to be a character witness for Danny in the trial, and Joe's parents wouldn't let her. And Joe just seems so pissed about the whole thing.
She says, I lost my son for 5 years.
Yeah.
And the dad says, Officer Kyle, the unprofessional, says he's lucky he got 5.
Which I
Ouch.
think was kind of, he doesn't know the whole story either, so he's got to, like, tone it down or
I think he
something.
knows more than we think he knows.
Yeah, but I think they did a good thing not letting their 11-year-old daughter testify. She was already a little shattered by the whole thing.
And Joe said she wouldn't have done it anyways.
Who knows? I think.
knows?
I don't know. I think she would have.
See, but I think maybe they know, I think maybe they were afraid that she'd get caught or like being on it or something. I don't know. It seems like they're hiding something by not letting her do it.
I don't know. I
Or you
think
think
they're
it's just
being
good
Good
parenting?
parenting.
Good parenting.
Good parenting. They seem like good parents. They seem like they're just looking out for Joe.
Okay.
Seemingly.
I think they're hiding something.
You think everybody's hiding?
I know,
Everybody's
everyone's going to be. This is going to be really twisted.
hiding. We said we weren't gonna do it.
Twisted.
Yeah.
So then Joe and Danny are back on the same swings from the beginning because nothing changes. Except for that's kind of creepy, those swings. Like, last time I was here, you were walking out with that jump rope.
Is there, is
You
there,
just killed your aunt.
Memories.
I know.
is there significance in the fact that nothing has changed in the house?
Yeah, I
Oh,
was
And
for
they
gonna-
sure.
keep making.
Yeah.
I was going to bring that up.
reference.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely going to be something that has to do with that. And I don't know because it's not nothing has changed since her husband has died. It's nothing has changed since Danny went to
Yeah.
juvie.
Yeah.
So like that's a big thing. They brought it up so many times.
Yeah.
It's like they're shoving it in our face.
We get it.
And
Nothing's
It has
changed.
to do with something if they keep telling
Uh-huh.
us this over and over.
We also don't know the financial situation truly. We know what Karen has said, but we don't know the real reason that they're not moving out.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason they're keeping that house, and it could even be like there's a body buried under the steps or something. Like there could be lots of dark stuff going on in there.
Did they find the father's body, or was it?
No,
still
his
at
body
large?
was
No.
never
It's in the
found.
ocean, right?
He's going to come back. Season 2.
Or they're gonna find his body at the house.
Oh, she.
Twisted.
Maybe she killed him.
Yeah.
You
That'd be
think Karen
interest-
killed him?
You
Yeah.
think Karen's just going around killing everybody?
Maybe. You never know.
She's kind
The
of
show's about a murderer.
Hide your kids. Hide your wife. Just Karen's going around killing everybody.
She killed everybody.
So Joe gets home. Well, actually, we get Karen and Donnie, and Donnie
Donnie
says, "No,
Osmond.
Danny."
Danny.
I'm reading my terrible handwriting, And Danny goes off. He says, look, it's my fault. It's my fault I went to juvie. It's my fault that I killed my aunt. It's her fault that I killed. No, I'm just kidding. But he just says, like, Karen, stop it. It's my fault.
But this is the first time we've seen him actually be honest with his mom, because usually he just deflects anything she asks him and makes a joke about it. And this is when he's like, listen, this is serious. I'm taking this on. And if I'm going to cover up for Lacey, I'm going to cover up for Lacey.
The look on her face when he said that, did it seem like she knew more? She was like, maybe it's not your
I think
fault.
that goes back to the necklace, though, because I think maybe she's like, does he have something to do with this girl's murder?
Bum, bum, bum.
I don't know.
I kind of took it as more as he was talking about his aunt's murder and stuff. But I think the way that he was saying, like, I did this, I'll take the responsibility for it, and Karen's reaction to it, it kind of made it seem like maybe she didn't have something to do with it, but I still think she did. But
She definitely
her
does.
reaction to it was a little interesting. I didn't expect that from her.
I'm so excited to see, like, what she's hiding, because it's going to be
A
good.
lot.
So then Joe and her dad kind of have a heart-to-heart as well. And he lets her know, like, you're my baby, I'm just trying to protect you. And she's like, I'm not backing down. This is my friend, and I trust him. You've taught me to make my own decisions, so that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, like, Kyle needs to trust Joe more. I mean, you got to be able to trust your 16-year-old daughter.
Especially, she knows who killed
She knows
her.
better.
I know. It kind of seems like he should let her hang with him. You know, you keep your friends close.
But if
and
I
enemies closer.
if I was Joe, I would just say, Dad, Lacey was there with him. You know what I
He
mean?
knows. He knows, though. Karen told him, so
But do you think he believed Karen?
at first he didn't, but I'm sure he's gonna
Find out.
find out.
Maybe she let him brush her hair or something.
Okay.
That's,
No, but honestly,
That's like her go-to. I've
Think-
got a brush.
here you go. Her hair is perfect in every episode. like
who's
Joe.
the
Why
actor that plays
everybody's brushing it.
Sam Robards. Sam Robards plays Kyle Masterson. And when you're acting, you always need an objective. Well, you don't always, but usually it helps to have an objective that you want through the scene. And his objective has been slightly the same throughout the series so far, in that his goal is to convince Joe to stay away from Danny.
Mm-hmm.
And her goal is to prove to him that Danny is not who he thinks he is. But coming from his point of view, like a character can't judge themselves and act the character. Like if you're judging who you're playing, it doesn't work. So he has to full-heartedly believe that Danny is this terrible person, and that's why he can play it. Like think of it from his point of view. I mean, it's a kid who was in juvie for 5 years.
Oh
who
yeah, but
killed his aunt.
I think he's hiding something too.
I think what he said in the beginning, he is out to get the truth. I feel like that's what his objective is, to find out what really happened.
But clearly he doesn't have like a black and white thing when it comes to right and wrong, because he'll find the truth even if he has to cut corners to do it. You know what I mean? Snooping
warrants. He's
No.
Kyle
Yeah.
Masterson.
He just goes
you know
right
what I
into
mean?
the bedroom.
Snooping around the house, so I don't think he's above hiding something either.
Oh, definitely not. We know that because he didn't tell. Because Joe didn't know about the character
thing.
witness thing.
Yeah.
So he knows how to hide things, especially like you'd think that would come up with like, yeah, he's coming out of jail. We kind of could have helped him, but we didn't. Sorry.
I know.
I don't think it would have made much of a difference, though, even if she had been a character witness. Because, I mean, he killed someone.
And she
I don't
was
know though, because
11.
he's so young.
And, yeah.
So we get a little bit more of Tess and Kyle behind with when they're talking about the house being the same, and then. But did you notice that photo?
I know. I didn't think anyone
Which
noticed
photo?
it either.
The one that was moved?
Yeah. Tess is Joe's
That's
mom.
the last conversation that Tess and Kyle have.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, it was weird. I walked in, there was a photo of Tara, and then there wasn't when I walked by it again. Snooping little mom.
Yeah, the mom is pretty keen.
That's pretty observant.
See, but I
of
think
her.
if I was Joe's mom, I would think that Karen did it. Karen moved it
She
because
kinda-
it seems more like something she would. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is the aunt that's dead. Let's not remind him.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how she
That's
made
how
it out.
Tess thought it
That's
was,
how
yeah.
she made it out, to be like, oh, it just maybe happened on coincidence. But the father,
Well, maybe she just was looking at how they can fit everything in that very unlimited space.
That's true. She's like, wow, they have so many pictures.
I wish I could fit half as many pictures as this woman does.
like, who's going to someone's house and counting pictures? Like, there was a lot of pictures up there.
Yeah.
But I wonder though if she did see the picture, like if she's looking at pictures, like, oh, there's the lady he murdered. That's kind of weird that they have that picture up. You know.
Yeah.
Mhm, that makes sense.
So then Danny ends up burning all the pictures back in their little fort, and he goes to smash the necklace, and he doesn't go through with it. And then the way we were talking about this when we were watching, but the way it's filmed, do you think somebody's watching him do this? Because
Yeah.
the camera like zooms out, and it looks like somebody's
Those
gonna be watching.
butt heads. Like seriously, I'm watching this and they got me with the necklace. Like I wrote down breaks. That was a
I
breaking
know.
necklace.
Wait.
But then the way they did it with the window like slowly zooming out, you think it's gonna stop and you're gonna see like Joe there. He's got the necklace. Or you're gonna see like Kyle Masterson.
Yeah.
He's got the necklace.
Nobody was there.
you pan out and Regina's standing there.
I felt like at one point I did feel like they were gonna like bring. I hate when Lacey said that she could almost hear her laugh. I was like, are they gonna bring her back as a
She's
ghost?
like in the rafters of the school.
Senior prank.
Just
I'm
kidding,
back.
I'm dead.
Oh my
It does
god.
say 5 episodes. No, I'm just kidding.
So funny. Let's get into some news and gossip, guys.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So Twisted is still doing really good on the ratings. They grew by double digits last night.
Nice.
And they were up against The Voice and the NBA Final Playoffs, whatever those are. Something with sports. And they still held their own. They were number 1 for their time bracket on cable TV. So good for them.
Oh, go.
And they were the second most talked about on social media right after Pretty Little Liars.
Ooh.
So it's
Go
doing
ABC
pretty good. I know.
family.
So I talked a little bit about Yvonne Jogia's interview with the Hollywood Reporter, but he kind of gave insight about him and Karen's relationship on the show. I'll just read it so it's easier. He says he almost becomes the husband now that his father's gone. He becomes the man of the house. Their relationship is strained pretty severely. Even before the murder, he doesn't think Karen was exactly psyched to have a kid, and Danny knew that. I think moving forward in the series, you get to see him almost parent her a little bit.
Yeah, you definitely see that now.
So that'll be interesting.
As long as he
yeah.
doesn't try to brush her hair.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I said that they had a weird relationship.
Yeah.
It felt
Yeah.
sexual. No?
No, I don't.
sick.
You think
I'm
everything's
sick.
sexual?
Well, in the preview, it looked kind of that
Yeah,
way too.
she-
Like when she's on the couch, like all
Okay.
strung out, and
What
he's like standing in the
if-
window.
What if his aunt is really his mom, and that's who he killed, and maybe there is something sexual?
I mean, she does
Maybe
look
it's
more
not
like
really
him
his
than.
mom.
Man, that would be awesome.
She looks more like him than Karen. Tara looks more
That's
like his
what
mom
I was
Yeah.
than
saying.
Karen.
He looks nothing
That'd be
like
really
her.
interesting, actually. Okay, speaking of romantic relationships, he said that there is one that they explored on this season, and he won't tell us who, but it's gonna
Thought
come
you were
out
finna
with
say
his
that.
character.
He was in a relationship. I was like,
Oh, I don't know in real life. Hopefully
Okay.
not.
woo! Dodge a
There's
bullet.
still a chance. So I don't know. I think it's gonna be Lacey.
You think it's gonna be
Yeah.
Lacey? Who do you think it's gonna be?
I
Heather?
think it's me, Lacey, too.
I want it to be Lacey. I want that so bad.
But who do you think it's gonna be?
Lacey.
Lacey.
Steven?
Yeah.
I
Phoebe.
think it's no. That's what I was gonna say.
Really?
I think it's gonna be Phoebe. 'Cause she is,
No.
That
Yeah.
would throw us for a curveball.
well, because we have the two characters that are like his friends, and as he said in the interview, I would die for my friends. I don't think he's gonna. I think he's the type who would friend zone them. And then now we have this new girl, Phoebe. She's entered the picture. We'll see what happens.
Huh.
He keeps
I mean,
going in.
we'll see who's right in the end.
He's gonna kill Phoebe. Let's get into predictions.
Also, got to throw out there that character that they introduced us to is the deputy of the sheriff's department, who also says, "Oh my God, he's a hottie."
Yeah,
We don't know her name though. They
No.
don't introduce her at all, as aside from. What do you think of this?
she's probably just somebody to
Eye
talk
candy.
to. I don't know.
Eye candy.
Yeah,
More eye candy.
perfect.
So
Who
for
wants to-
predictions,
yeah.
I want to throw out a question because we have some time. What do you think is going on right now? What do you think are the connections between everyone as of now, Heather?
Oh, goodness. Caught me off guard there with that one.
Okay, Jason, go first.
Okay. I think that Karen is going to be suspicious that Danny, I really think there's something with this necklace, and I think she's still going to cover up for Danny, but she's going to think that he had something to do with the murder. So it's going to be like she's still trying to get him off, but secretly she thinks he did it.
You said get him off.
Oh,
Sorry.
oh my God.
I held that back, but you did not. Okay.
Inappropriate.
Speaking of him and his mother having it, yeah. Okay, you go. You go
You know
ahead.
what? When you said that she might not be his mother, I'm thinking she's the one who's murdering everybody, and she's not his mother. And it's gonna come out that she actually murdered the auntie who was his mother because she didn't want it to come out.
Okay. That'd be interesting. And she made her son go to jail for it.
That's not her son.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
It's her lover.
No.
He was 11 at the time.
Oh, yeah, you're just joking. All right, you go, Heather.
Okay, so I definitely think that the mom has something still to do with the aunt's death. I definitely think she's connected with them somehow. I think that her son, Danny, is covering for the mom still. And I don't think that Danny has anything to do with Regina's death, but I don't know. I'm still confused on who I think actually did it, who actually killed Regina. But I don't know. Could be Phoebe. I think she. I still think she may have something to do with it.
I think that's smart.
She was so
actually.
jealous of her, though. Like, I don't know. I think their whole friendship it broke down in a bad way. So we'll see.
That's interesting.
I think this is the connections that I have right now. I think Miss Masterson, killed Regina. And I think she was trying to frame Danny by texting him to come over that night. And when he didn't, she left, and then he went over later, found the body, took the necklace because it was something that could tie her back. And that's why Tess was so interested in the pictures of the house, because she's the one who knew about the pictures. Like, oh, did you notice that picture? It wasn't there. Like, she was looking for a picture with Tara in it. So she's trying to get Danny set up the bomb.
I think that's really far-fetched, but that could be.
I don't know.
She just
something about her is suspicious.
really.
See,
Yeah.
I think she's gonna be like the good character.
Yeah.
Don't see it. No. I think because it's always the person you least expect is like gonna be the terrible person. So I think Karen's just like a red herring at this point. And then I think that perhaps maybe what's his face Danny's dad and their daughter is Joe.
Oh.
Danny's
That'd be
dad and
interesting.
Karen's daughter is Joe.
No, Danny's dad and Tess, Miss Masterson, is Joe.
Okay. Well, guys, tweet
And I think
us
Tara knew.
if you have any predictions or think we're right or wrong. We'd love to hear about it. And where can they find everybody?
I am at Heather Joy Smith on Twitter.
I'm just Lina Green on Twitter.
You can find me at Stephen Lemieux, StephenLemieux. Please follow me. And if you do like my really crazy theories, like tell me your crazy theories because mine are really, really crazy.
And you can find me at Jason Ikeler on Twitter, Instagram, Vine, all that good stuff. And we
Hashtag
will
Jason.
hashtag Jason Ikeler, trend me. And we will see all of you guys back in here next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.